Kia ora tātou whānau. My name is Matarina. I live in Aotearoa, New Zealand. My place of residence is in Taupo, the central North Island of New Zealand, otherwise known as the Garden of Eden. Just kidding, but really. Anyway, I wanted to share with you a little bit of my journey as to how I got to where I am today. We are living in exciting times. Yes, I said in exciting times, even with this COVID climate. In fact, many of us believe that we're going to see the greatest outpouring of the Spirit of God moving on the earth like nothing we've ever seen before. Joel chapter 2, which is one of my favourite books in the Bible, in the Old Testament of the Bible, says, "A day of gloominess and darkness, like a cloud spread over the mountain. A people come great and strong, the light that has never been or will ever be for many successive generations. There is a devouring fire before them and a burning flame behind them, and the land before them is like the Garden of Eden, and behind them a desolate wilderness." So I believe that we're going to see the manifestation of God's people moving or stepping into the dreams and visions that God has etched into our hearts for the last long while. For those of you who are familiar with Habakkuk 2, it says, "Write the vision on your heart, make it plain on tablet, so that he who reads it will run with it. And though it linger, wait for it will surely come to pass." And the Lord just really impressed upon my heart as we came partway out of 2021 and stepped into 2022, that we are in a time where he's made his people pregnant in the Spirit, and we are in a time of it will surely come to pass. And so I'm going to go back just over 5 years ago. I was in debt. I had a $12,000 student loan. I was in the worst place spiritually. And I had also asked my employer at the time, who was really good to me. I shared a business idea with her and she invested in it. I need to find that I wasn't ready. I lacked the maturity. I didn't have the mindset, let alone the knowledge. And I ended up working what she gave me off. Each week she would take a huge chunk of my pay out of my pay, which left me with very little to live on. But that was my fault. Anna, good job. And I never ended up paying the interest. I just paid the amount. But by the grace of God, she was happy that she even got that much back. And during that time, I had pent-up frustration. And in that pent-up frustration, I kept saying to the Lord, "Why do so many of us live below par or behind the line, when your word says something completely different? Why is the reality of our lives very different to what your word says? Why haven't we come into alignment with it?" And especially those of us, if not more so, that are in the church. And so he began to speak to me during that period of time that I was slogging, which was self-inflicted. And I prayed for a job that, after I paid my employer the amount that she put into my bank account, I prayed for a job that would pay off my student loan, pay off my debt, afford me the cost of living, and give me some money left to spend. Tōroro, right? And by the grace of God, he did. I got 2 job interviews in the same week, and I ended up becoming a truck operator for Downers. And I did that for 5 years. I achieved paying off my student loan. I achieved paying off 97% of my debt. And unfortunately, I didn't save. I could have saved, but I didn't. And so I ended up resigning for 2 main reasons. One was, after 5 years of driving 10 to 12 hours, 5 days a week, and sometimes 6, I became extremely fatigued, to the point that I almost drove off the road a few times. By the grace of God, he woke me up in time, and I didn't hurt myself or anybody else. And also, I really had an unction in my spirit that the Lord was saying, "It is now time to make what I've etched into your heart a reality." And so when I resigned from my job, a week later, lockdown came. And I thought to myself, oh, what? Of course lockdown came. Especially at a time that I really wanted to start putting things into place so that I could do what I believe the Lord had shown me to do over the last while. And what I didn't know I would do during lockdown is research about investing. It wasn't something that I thought would be foremost a priority, or it wasn't foremost in my mind. Sure, I had thought about it here and there, not too deeply. And I found out some really fascinating things about investing, which leads me to what I want to share with you today. But I will do that in the next session because I believe that the video is going to clock out. So see you in the next session, whānau.